Hello everyone, and welcome to the Deep Blue Renegade podcast. My name is Molly, also known as the Deep Blue Renegade, and I'd like to welcome you guys to episode, maybe 161? I didn't check. Today is Monday, January 2nd, 2016, and it is 163. Majesty. I was having a little bit of trouble getting started, but it looks like everything is going now. There were a couple of things I wanted to do today, because I didn't get a chance to record yesterday, because it was a mess. But today is my day off for New Year's Day, bizarrely. So I've had a nice quiet house to myself, and I've been racking up all the things. So, it is beautiful natural light. It's nice enough to record outside, but my spot is filled with fish tank, and I can't move around myself. So, hopefully that won't be too much longer, but who knows. I guess I shall start at the beginning with a finished object. Woohoo! So, this wasn't blocked yesterday, and so that was one of the reasons why I didn't record yesterday, because I wanted this done, because I'll actually be seeing the recipient tonight, and I would like to give it to her then, as opposed to waiting a couple of days. So, this is the Laminaria. It is an Elizabeth Freeman pattern. I knit it on, I think, US 5 needles, with my fiber optic bitter lime to rose gradient. Obviously, you can see I only made it to the purple, and it's a monster. Like, this is a wear behind your back, not a jauntily wear in your front. Yeah, I know, it's a little big to be wearing jauntily in your front. But yeah, such is life. So, it's going to be a wear from behind one, I'm guessing. It did turn out to be more than wingspan, actually substantially more so. So, wingspan, and we're talking, close to like 9 inches extra, so probably 18 past. So, really, really big, but I'm really happy with how it turned out and how lovely and lacy it all is. I finished this on the plane ride back home, so that was demented early. The short answer was I finished binding off, had my coffee and cookies from the people, and then immediately conked out. So, yeah. Oh well, and I did a purl two together bind off, because I didn't really want to figure out how to do a purl two together held doubled with that yarn. It just wasn't worth it. So, that was cool. So, yay, done, finished. And that's actually been finished for some time, but I finally got around to blocking it. There was much washing that needed to be done. The other thing, if we can get at it, it's in a bag underneath here, is, so what I ended up starting as my knitting project was a pair of socks. So this is another Spin the Bin fiber. This is my Happy Hooves bat. It's a 3-ply. Looks like, so I am halfway done with this sock. I'm working on the gusset decreases now. I think I did a heel flap while I was on the plane coming back, and there really hasn't been too much action on it since. So I'd cast this on ages and ages ago, but I didn't really count it as being started until I actually got into the rotation, so to speak. So this is my vanilla sock pattern, more or less. The pattern is called Just Ribbing. I'm not even sure it's up on the internet anymore at this point. It's just what I call my vanilla sock pattern. So it's a 2x2 rib this time, a normal style slip stitch heel, 72 stitches. I think these are zeros, but who knows? There is no written indication anywhere on the needles as to what their size is, and I'm very certain that I don't have a needle gauge that is that small to tell the difference between my zeros and double zeros. So, whatever. What is it? But I think there'll be more socks this year than there were last year, because I just threw 3 pair away that were destroyed, and I'll probably be equally as ruthless because I need to wash all my socks today, another part of the agenda. So as a result, it's looking like I'm gonna have to, I'll cull through them and figure out what is destroyed or not, or whether or not it's quite destroyed enough to call it dead, but it seems to be the case. So there's some more room in my sock drawer. So I may as well make some socks for myself. So these are going to be socks for myself because I bet this is like totally 100% feltable, and only I care enough about the socks to make sure they don't get destroyed. So there's that. You'll notice that my shelves are completely empty. The other thing I am doing today is actually flashing my stash. So I've taken everything off, and what I like to do is, so natural light, so we got that right now, so we'll see. So I got natural light. I range it like by color and that sort of thing, and then show off my different what have yous, because it's fun. And then what I do is I go through all my plastic bags and I replace the ones that have like rips in them or seem to be getting a little thin or not holding air anymore. And then I basically rearrange everything, get it all together. And it's my yearly stash turning, so to speak. I also use it as an opportunity to like clean up the upstairs and that sort of thing. So there's still a bit of mess going on, but it's not dreadful. I try not to go too crazy, and there's probably lots of things that I could clean up as well. So, but sort of gives me a chance to sort of put a reset on the year. Normally I do it New Year's Day, but yeah, it was just totally derailed yesterday. I think I finally properly got up at like 2. It was pretty bad. So much easier to do it on a day where I'm the only person home from work. It's fantastic. Alright, so now to the spinning section. Like, you notice how there wasn't a whole lot of knitting there. That's because it has been consumed by spinning. So I did sit down. I couldn't remember if I had washed my rainbow yarn, so I rewashed it. But here is the pound I spun in December. Or finished spinning in December, let's be fair. So some of these you have seen before, I'm pretty sure. But I did finally actually wash them, I think. I don't know. I know I've showed this one. So this is my Malabrigo Noob in the Poseidon colorway. It's still a little bit damp because it is super duper squishy. But sort of muted blues with like purples and greens and a little bit of red in it. Oh no. So this one is much bulkier than I normally spin, but looks to be pretty consistent. I think it, yardage wise, turned out to be a worsted weight 3-ply. So I Navajo plied it, but due to the fiber, it definitely looks much more variegated, or that my plies are surprisingly barber pulled considering. So that turned out lovely. I think it's going to make a really super duper hat, personally. The next one, which I am not sure I showed you guys. I don't know, it's not like I'm watching old episodes of myself. I'm pretty sure I don't have any show notes. Alright, so what I have going on here is my Western Sky Knits Poppy Seed. This is an organic Pullworth silk 75/25, which I also made as an Navajo ply. This one turned out to be, I think, more of a sport weight in the end. I haven't remeasured the length to see where I stand exactly. This one's also still a little bit damp because I did wash it last night. So, nothing too crazy. I'm really happy with how it turned out. Really pretty fiber. Really nice to spin as well, so when I see Western Sky Knits again, I'll probably get some more to play around with. Alright, now, I know I haven't shown you guys these, and these were definitely the making it go till the last minute spins. And really, to be quite honest, I ran out of time, but details. So, I knew I wasn't going to have time to record on Saturday the 31st because I had a lot of spinning I had to do. Lots of spinning. Let's see if I can make this all prettified for you guys. So this mess is my Nest Vorfruit, and this one is the lighter browns. It looks like I lost a skein tie somewhere. I thought I'd grabbed an extra, but now it escapes me. So this is my Nest Vorfruit. This is 2 ounces, and it has this lighter brown and like hints of magenta in it. So it's a very warm fawn brown. It's coming up a little gray on the screen right now. And I was a little worried when I pulled it off that it wasn't going to be balanced, but it's pretty good balance after serious thwacking. I was using the Fast Flyer to ply. I wasn't using the same ratio on my Fast Flyer, but I wanted to truck on this. The other one, which, and what is it? And then this is the darker browns. It looks like it has all of its skein ties. So this one has some of the nuttier ones, but then probably some of the more gray browns in it. And this one ended up being a little bit more yardage. So this one was, what is it, 187 wraps. So it was 26 shy of 400. So what would that be? 374 yards. And this guy ended up being 205, so this was 410 yards. But in terms of similarity in weight, I think they're pretty close. And you can see warmer, maybe a little bit more duller shades. But they both pick up a little bit of each other in it. So, let's see if I can show it off this way. So you can sort of see maybe how they're, sort of blend into each other somewhat. So So this ended up being my last 4 ounces. I had some of the singles on the darker one done, but when I got back, this was my primary focus for the week, was trying to get all of the singles spun for this guy. So I can't remember if I did the lighter one all within the week before or not, but I was definitely running pretty tight on time. So I ended up finishing like at 12:40, but I put all my spin the bins together and took a photo and called it good, because it was pretty close. Now this other one is probably my longest standing spinning project. I just have stuff flying all over the place. I don't think I properly secured down the end, but this is my 4 ounces of Pigeon Roof Studios in the January Club colorway. Probably 2013. There it is. A skein tie. So, this actually ended up being, I think, a little bit lighter than I was expecting. I had like probably 600 yards of a 2-ply. So, and I ended up needing to break it into 2 skeins because I was working on it at my parents' house. So, as a result, ended up getting 2 skeins instead of 1. And for some reason my skeins are not staying tied, which is annoying, but whatever. So, yeah, I think this ended up, so I was wondering if it was going to be some insane amount of singles or something like that, and that wasn't the case. It wasn't too crazy as far as singles are concerned. And what's interesting, actually, is the fiber had some brown in it, but the finished product, in fact, is just very, very purple. Maybe there's a little bit that you can see in the other one, but it's really very subtle. So the effect is, what would it be? Not like in your face, like some things would be. I don't even know. There's just all sorts of mess going on here. So I would say, depending on how it ended up being, but a pretty nice spin overall, very pretty, with the different shades of purple, so some of the redder purples and the bluer purples. This one's actually much closer to being dry than the other ones are. But definitely a nice spin, definitely fun to do. And I think it turned out lovely overall. So I finished the 3/4 an ounce worth of singles spinning, and then applied it all together. For some reason, the colors don't seem to be quite showing up quite right, but well, such is life. So, nice poofy skein there, and that is a ridiculous amount of spinning I've done in December. And because I had to take pictures anyways, I brought my other spin the bin stuff as well. So you've now seen 5 of them right here. The first one was, of course, what became my Hitafude. So, yay, lovely. This is the one I ended up doing in like January and February. Then, what was it? I probably did the fiber optic not too not too long after that, this was the one that broke me. This was the silk spin with almost 3,000 yards of singles. Like, there's still 500 yards of yarn there. It's a 6-ply. And 3 ounces. So this was the one that pretty much broke me. This one took way too long to finish. I also have the leftovers from my bitter lime to rose. They definitely are much more self-consistent now. The green and the pink totally didn't go with each other. Let's see. There's my other Western Sky Knits spin of the 2 skeins of different length. So this is a variegated BFL. Then my Into the World. This is a Super Rush Merino, or Merino Bamboo Silk blend, which turned out very lovely. Definitely, washing definitely helped this guy a lot. Then the last guys are my 2 nest spins. So this one was Chautauqua, and this one was Shoshone, I do believe, or switched. Either way, whatever. And these are probably going into a 3-color project with another nest spin that has yet to be begun. So that is my bin. So I was very excited to see the end of it. It was definitely a lot of work to get it done in time. I was a little bit insane. Oh, I forgot one. And then this one is also a bin spin. This is, what is it? So this one was a Happy Hooves Bat. So most of it is still in skein form. But there was no need to do the use it or lose it, so that was good. I haven't heard anything about, what is it? So I'll probably take individual skein photos today and then get everything updated on my stash. I'm not even sure if I even necessarily started projects for some of them. It was getting a little frantic there at the end. So, oh well. But I think a very successful year in spinning. I definitely am spoiled for choice in terms of what I can do this time around. I've seen like the fiber has been multiplying like tribbles in my shelf. I'm definitely way behind on taking stash photos for that. But this is my current project, which is technically speaking the same project as the brown skeins. I decided to do the brown skeins in my Rush because they added up to 4 ounces and it was less exciting. But I'm now into the maroons. Let's see if we can navigate that in there. Alright, we're good. So I'm into the maroons now. I have 2 different shades. Maybe if I could attach all this, that would be nice. So I have 2 different shades. For some reason, when I got the fiber, so this shade was what I started with. So this was my original bump that I got in the club. I ended up picking up 2 bumps in D-Stash, and they were the lighter shades. So you see this sort of more rosy color in here. So this is going to be this little, I don't even know if it's 2 ounces or not. This next skein is going to be much more variegated than the others. And within that, it seems like what made the difference between the light and dark was how deep the magenta was. So this magenta skein is going to be more variegated. So what I'm doing is I'm spinning from the yellow to the brown tips and going from there. And then I have a few more bags of fiber left to go. So what I did, because my one bump was so much different than my other bump, was I actually split it apart by color. So I had, I'll take the tottering pile of fiber, so I had a bunch of brown, so 1/3 of it was brown. A little bit less than 1/3 of it was blue. There's probably, what is it? Probably 1/6 of it was this magenta color, and then, what is it? Probably more like 1/5 of the total amount was sort of this more variegated in between. So it has a little bit of yellow, a little bit of blue, maybe a little bit of magenta as well. So what I did was separate them all out. With this magenta one, I needed to break it apart a little bit more so that I could just have, break up the colors a little bit, because it was going to be sort of crazy otherwise. And then, and so I'm sort of just going through the progression. I was thinking I could comb it together to blend everything better, but for some reason the fiber links were so different that I couldn't pull a top. I could pull some top, but it was just the case where it wasn't being very consistent, so I don't know if I needed Diz to properly pull a top or what, but it was the case where after trying to do maybe like a 1/2 ounce section and then giving up. So that blue will probably be a little bit more uniform in color. I'll make sure I spin all of it on one end, and then when I do the 2-ply together, I'm sure that'll even it out. But these are sort of the size chunks I'm working with. I put a picture on Instagram because I sort of chunked everything out and ordered it. And I actually broke these darker ones into smaller bits so that I could just alternate between the magenta and the rose-colored bits. And I'm sure the character of the yarn is probably just going to be mostly magenta. But I figured that was going to be the easiest way to make sure that everything was properly mixed together as smoothly as possible. I was sort of hoping to be able to comb together the lighter and the darker, but oh well. I might have been able to card it, but I was running low on time, so I just was like, ah. I split it all up and then I started spinning. So, it was worth a shot. So this will be my spinning project in the short term. It's not a part of any bin or anything, because I'd like to put some incoming fiber into my bin. So I had talked about doing a sweater spin. So I don't know what I was thinking, but apparently I should have just had it ship immediately as opposed to waiting for my club. So I'll be waiting till mid-January for that. So then I'll declare my bin and have my however many entries and call it good. So that is that. Let's see. I'll move that out of the way. So what's funny is that I still haven't started the project. It turned out I had left the needles at home, so my little turtle cozy project is still waiting in the wings. The needles are now in the bags. It was looking more promising. And then the other thing that has yet to be started, though I would like to start sometime soon, is, the shawl. I think it's Into Darkness, and that is a Bunis pattern, so I've been on a bit of a Bunis bender. It seems like a good deal of my shawls have been from her, so, and then I ended up going with the gold-lined cleared beads for this one, so I think that'll be very pretty. So, looking promising, but I brought them with me, lugged them all the way there, lugged them all the way back. Didn't touch anything but the sock. Which was already started, so I guess it had that going for it. It wasn't like I was going to start a lace shawl while wandering around the shed aquarium. That was just going to be too much crazy. So, trying to think of. So, I would like to start these. I probably should start the turtle cozy sooner rather than later. So, that's gonna have to be a thing soon. Whatever, that's what I get for putting it in the United Way auction. So, let's see, anything else? I should be able to record next week, hopefully in a more typical time. It would have been, what would it be? It would have been so nice to record outside, but I don't think it was too bad recording inside this week. So that will probably be, what would that be? The 7th or 8th, I do believe. Because the 9th would be a full week. Yeah, the 9th will be a full week. So the craziness starts again. I've been enjoying my few weeks of mostly pajamas, but all good things have to come to an end. Back to the grind. So, shouldn't be too crazy, and we'll see what other things end up getting put on the eels as times go, but I need to take pictures of all of my stash before the sun goes down, so with that, I hope you guys have a lovely week, and I look forward to talking to you guys next week, so take care guys, bye-bye.